Wonder Woman issue the 784. Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad writing, with Marcio Takara on the art. This is kind of the final issue before we go into crossover land. So this is wrapping up this current arc and dealing with the matter of the mirror world. The master of the mirror world is what I meant to say there. But not mirror master.
The image maker is what he calls himself.
Yes, but they say master of mirror world like 5 times in this issue, so that's what stuck in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I maybe an editor should have suggested something different, since it is so close to Mirror Master. You know?
Yes, that's why I kind of made a point of saying they do use the word image maker, because and they do bold it, which because he says I am the image maker, master and commander of Mirror World, but he bolds image maker, which makes me assume that is supposed to be a name.
And we can assume that technology is very similar to the Mirror Master stuff, right? Like.
Well,
that's why.
We find out in this issue that basically when Wonder Woman was coming back to Earth, she went through this mirror world, and that's why it's like fractured, and that's why he's out there, and he claims that she's from there and that she should go back, and he tries to trick her with like it's like here's your life there, where Wonder Woman retired, and you're just in a romantic relationship with Steve, and everything's all happy. She very quickly rejects it, and part of that, of course, is because she has the lasso. There
was a moment where I was really worried on those pages, because I don't think I'd clocked that this was going to be the final issue before the crossover, before I started reading it. And I got to this stuff in, give or take, the middle of the book. I was like, are we doing extended, alternate, here's the fantasy world, and then it only lasts like 2 pages. And I was like, oh, that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, because the lasso kind of like lets her know that this isn't real. Like, she can tell.
Just with this, I wish, having read all of the Wonder Woman, right, from this creative team, not once in her return do I ever remember any of this Mirror World stuff. And I just wish they had spent maybe a page on it. So, because this whole Mirror World stuff comes out of like left field, just to justify these duplicates and whatnot.
I mean, it ties. I mean, these duplicates have always been like mirrors because they've always shattered like glass. So
no, I understand that. But like, we saw her return through the realm of the gods, right? Like, at least me and Connor.
Yeah, I didn't, but I'll take your word for it.
Right, and there was never once where we got this whole vibe of she came through a mirror world.
No, my only assumption is it happened when we didn't see, as in like before she went to Valhalla. Like, it was between the Sphere of the Gods and Valhalla was
but that's like
that stuff happened. But...
I just wish there was a mention before starting the story of like, she journeyed through the mirror world, and because this just comes out of left field.
I get it. I will say I'm not too annoyed, because I don't mind the inclusion of it, purely because it leads to just some gorgeous layouts. The way it plays with just the panels shattering constantly.
Takara's art here is fantastic.
And that alone is enough reason to go, screw it, let's do some Mirror World stuff, for me. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I had enough fun with the villain monologuing, Wonder Woman fighting him. This idea that she owes a fight to the Knight outside when she goes back out. Now, the reveal of who the Knight is, like, you kind of see it coming, obviously, and it makes sense that that's what they're building up to.
I think as soon as she pulls out the sword, right?
The part of it I like, though, is that you hear like the other voice, like when it starts like sort of maybe going against his programming a little bit, and you just see like a voice, like a bubble on its own saying, "You're going to let that broad flap her gums like that?" And immediately I went, "Oh, it's Psycho. This is Psycho." Like, that's immediately my mind just went, and it reveals at the next page. You see him in the very next page.
We knew Psycho sent him last issue, right?
Did we? I'd forgotten if we did, but.
We knew like the Shiny Knight was probably working for Psycho, but nothing like this,
Yeah. Well, I completely forgot that, because when I got to this page and I saw the broad line, I started laughing because I was like, "Oh, it's Psycho, you bastard!" But regardless, funny moment, and obviously he's pissed. But it's Siegfried, of course, from her time in Valhalla and wherever else, and so he's here in the world. He ends up going to the hospital to mend these wounds.
We've got a nice man at a time situation going on where Boston's got to teach him some stuff.
Oh yeah, he doesn't understand the heart rate monitor or anything else, and I presume a lot of other things are going to come up that he doesn't understand.
Well, I imagine he comes from the 800s or 900s. probably.
Yeah, so pre-electricity, right?
Well, pre-electricity, yes.
Yeah, well, I think that covers though everything that he's going to have explained to him.
It does, yes. Yeah.
I realise it's quite a bit of time before electricity.
I was going to say, there's a lot of other things that came between that as well.
Yeah.
So as right as he's revealed, he talks about his workings. It was dark, the serpent, the chasm, the Aperion. So I looked up what that means, and it's a Greek word which means the unlimited, boundless, indefinite, right? So, which is a Greek word which I find is interesting.
I think it's interesting because it's bolded, which implies there's some level of importance in thanks to the lettering, but also him choosing to use the Greek in general is an interesting choice.
Right. So I thought that was good because that stood out to me when he brought that up before he.
And obviously, I don't think his coming back is going to factor much, if anything, into the crossover. So this is definitely something that they're setting up for
later. Yeah,
for after. You get a couple of pages where it's like Nubia's like, "Hey Diana, can I need you back in Themyscira?"
Crossover time, bitches.
Yeah, and it says goodbye, go have fun on the island, kind of thing. And it was a scene at the end though with Dr. Psycho where he sets up the new Villainy Inc. That he's put together, and we don't see who the other members are yet, but he's talking to them. He's sort of glued one of the mirror image Wonder Woman back together as his.
It's kind of creepy, and I love it.
Yeah,
it's
kind of
super
fun.
creepy.
She's got this crack down her face.
It's very like a broken doll sort of effect to it.
Yeah, it's a very Dollatron.
I was going to say Stepford Wife kind of thing
too.
going. Yeah, but obviously it sets up. Okay, we've got this new villain plot, but he even says in his dialogue like, "Oh, let her go and have playtime on our island. This gives us time to plan our next thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, so yeah, when we come back after the crossover." so
traditionally, Villainy Inc. is let's see, post-crisis. You have Dr. Poison, Giganta, Jinx, Queen Clea, and Cyborg Girl.
I don't really associate this with a specific roster, other than Dr. Psycho, but guys, I've always just taken it as a team of Wonder Woman villains.
No, yeah, but the original one was someone named Blue Snowman, Cheetah, Dr. Poison, Evil S, Giganta, Hypnota, Queen Clea, and Zara. So
Giganta and Queen Clea were the two that stood out.
And Dr. Poison.
I think what this does though is by not revealing them now, it's in that table.
Yeah,
is that means we get to have some reveals of who the team members are when we come back. So
which is real cool.
Yeah,
and kind of do them one at a time if you wanted to.
I like the fact too that he's talking about how this is like a magic trick about him shuffling the cards, and but there are people who they don't even want to play the game. That nothing matters because
it really plays up his ego. It's like I don't need to win or lose. I just want to be seen.
Right.
Yeah, that definitely plays up his Napoleon complex.
I can't not hear him in Tony Hale's voice.
Oh my god, that is the definitive version of Psycho now.
Yeah,
that just is.
Yeah, it was a fun issue.
Yeah, man, Takar's art though, I can't get over how good it is.
Yeah, the art does elevate
what makes
it.
this issue.
Yeah,
you're more than just an average issue because the plot's good, it's solid, but it's the art that can elevate it to being this is fun.
I think it's got a supporting cast there. I think Deadman's been a fun addition to Wonder Woman's roster. You still got Steve and Etta doing their thing, and I really like Dr. Psycho just as a villain to focus on. As much as I love Cheetah and I love when they use Ares, but I they overused him a bit maybe. So it's just nice to let some of the other villains kind of take center stage. So him putting a team of villains together, it'll probably be other people. Cheetah might be on it, but it'll probably be others. I think it's just a fun idea. So I love playing with that stuff. So, all right, cool. Matt, what are you giving the book?
I'm going to give this one, I'll go 7.5.
7.5. Connor?
It's a solid 7 for me. I had fun with it.
Yeah. I'll agree with Matt and go with 7.5. I think it's a solid 7 book, but the art just kind of bumping it up a little bit, just giving it a bit of a sheen that I think feels quite nice.